My Hero Academia has come and gone. But for those of you who still have a yearning for something to try to fill the hole the series' conclusion has left in your hearts, then allow me to introduce you to this brand new manga from the mind of Kohei Horikoshi that recently made its debut in Weekly Shonen Jump. This is Quit Laughing, Shijima, a supernatural horror-esque manga that takes Horikoshi's writing and art to another level as he dives into a new genre that many people have been clamoring to see him tackle. The story revolves around our protagonist Azumi, a second-year high school student lost on the direction he wishes to take his life in. While his friends seem to have everything planned out for themselves, he can't say the same. Always living a carefree life, he's more of a go-with-the-flow type of guy. But now he finds himself at a crossroads. Adulthood is creeping up, and he's feeling the pressure on needing to buckle down on something soon. An idea pops into his head. What if I try surfing? When suddenly we hear laughter burst out from fellow schoolmate Shijima. She doesn't do it out of malice though. She's just a girl that enjoys a good laugh and genuinely thinks Azumi's a funny guy. Unlike him, she seems to have everything going for her. She's popular at school, she's always getting free stuff from the store, and even adults pray to her as she walks through the streets like she's some kind of deity. Curious, Azumi asks her what she plans to do with her life, but she shuts him down and tells him it's none of his business. As she walks away, Azumi thinks on the feelings he has for her, wondering if the smile she always wears would disappear if he confessed to her. We see that she carries a strange-looking fishhook made of bones on her bag, and as she turns the corner, a ginormous, evil-looking spirit chases and claws after her. This terrifies Azumi, but he's shocked when he realizes that no one else could see it before it vanished. He tries to run off in embarrassment and then trips over a dead fish that suddenly appeared on the ground. Little did he know that this would be the last day Shijima would come to school. Apparently, this isn't Azumi's first encounter with these creatures either. He's seen them plenty of times over the water since he moved to Konoshiro, but this is the first time he's ever seen them on land. He thinks back on his first day of middle school after he had just moved. Shijima was the only one that offered him a laugh during his poor attempts at comedy. Back then, she was nowhere near as popular as she is now. She would embarrassingly cover her mouth often when ridiculed by her classmates over her teeth. Later on, she tries to apologize to him for feeling like she ruined his first impression for the class. He tells her not to worry though, it wasn't her fault. He turns his head towards the ocean and sees a hook, the very same hook we later see on Shijima's bag. A mysterious jogger then passes by, warning Azumi not to look at the hook, and that even though no one else can see it, they know it's there. Under the water, we see an enormous face, surrounded by arms reaching out towards it. The next day at school, Shijima is popular now for some reason. The hook has appeared on her bag, and she says she's been chosen. Back in the present, Azumi asks his friend Yoshifusa about the hook. He says it's just an art project that the city runs where a student gets chosen to carry the hook. This explanation still doesn't sit right with Azumi though, and his brain can't stop thinking about how the hook and monsters might have something to do with Shijima's disappearance. Even more suspiciously, everyone is dismissive of his concerns and doesn't seem to care about her absence. He tries to press his friends more until he's interrupted by a random woman screaming at him to stop talking about it. He then looks up to see a group of ominous spirits that keep appearing, and once again, no one else seems to be able to see them. We cut to Shijima as she's being given away to the government in exchange for some kind of compensation for her family. The foreboding nature of this interaction is masked by the gleeful expressions put on by Shijima and her family. They all seem to be happy she's been chosen to be this so-called Pesca princess, which means she's being sacrificed to some sort of god known as the Deep Dweller. Her job is to bring the hook with her to it and to be chosen as its new wife to ensure the safety of the city from its wrath. Azumi, meanwhile, tracks down the spirits to Shijima's house. For some reason, they're after the hook. He comes to her rescue and is confused by hearing the others yell out that she's needed for the sacrifice. Shijima begs Azumi to let her off, I was lucky to be chosen, she yells. This is the only way for her life to truly matter, to finally be important. She explains to him the secret history of the city, harbored by the generations of families that have long lived there. Women are selected to be sacrificed to the sea and become the city's guardian angel. It's a huge honor. Out of the water, we see the deep dweller menacingly make its emergence. Shijima jumps off the bike and is then taken away by the waves. Azumi spots Yoshifusa and confronts him about the city's secret and expresses its disgust with all of them sending Shijima off to her demise. Yoshifusa tries to defend himself, saying that they were all just following the tradition that has long been set for them. This explanation isn't good enough for Azumi though, and he rides off to save Shijima. As she's about to sacrifice herself, Shijima's life flashes before her eyes. The glee she brought her parents thanks to the payout they'll get, the popularity she gained in school thanks to being chosen. She has to be happy. In her final moments, she thinks about Azumi. Despite all the prosperity her fate has brought her, he was the only one that truly ever made her feel real happiness. At the last second, Azumi bursts in and stops the ritual. Shijima's facade of glee finally melts off her face as she erupts into tears. The two dive into the water as Azumi then realizes that the spirits he kept seeing are the previous sacrifices. They weren't trying to hurt Shijima, no, they were trying to save her. Azumi grabs the hook and the women embed their spirits within it, creating a lethal weapon. He confesses his love for Shijima and she does the same in return. The hook stabs the deep dweller in the eye, destroying it once and for all. In the aftermath, Azumi and Shijima wash up on the shore, the hook still in Azumi's hand. We cut to the mysterious jogger from earlier, informing the government that the sacrifices will no longer be needed. He speaks about how humans once could see the otherworldly, but lost that power over time. Given Azumi's appearance though, it looks like this ability is finally returning to the world. At the end, we find out that Shijima was able to claim the money for herself for the sacrifice, and it looks like Azumi has finally figured out his path in life. But the Deep Dweller wasn't the only malicious force haunting the country. It looks like Azumi has a lot of work ahead of him. The central theme around this manga is that of tradition and generational trauma. Tradition is something that can be near and dear to someone's heart for many different reasons. But as life moves on, we often find ourselves at a crossroads where we have to make a decision on if our traditions are truly viable to hold on to. If we abandon them, how will we ever define ourselves, and what are the consequences for doing so? But just because something might be the old way, doesn't mean it's the only way. And unfortunately, sometimes we find ourselves having to bear the burden that the past generations have thrust upon us. At some point, the buck needs to stop though, and that weight needs to be shed. Some things, after all, are better left in the past. While this manga is a one-shot, it definitely felt a lot more like a pilot chapter. There's a lot of setup here that could lead into a full-fledged series. I don't know if that's Horikoshi's intention, but given this release, it looks like he's been itching to toy with something new. In the lead up to its debut, I saw a lot of hype around this manga and how it would be his first foray into horror. While I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, I feel like a lot of those sentiments were kind of misconstrued. I wouldn't call this a horror manga. This is definitely more of an action thriller with occult tones. Horikoshi's art really stands out here though. In MHA, there were plenty of panels that would fit right into this type of story. So it's interesting to see what he's able to come up with when he's able to lean more into his talent for bone-chilling illustrations. The story was good given its constraints in length, and I found it funny how quickly Azumi and Shijima confess their feelings to each other, given the glacial pace the development of Deku and Ochako's relationship had. And speaking of Deku, while I thought Azumi's design on the final page looked pretty cool, it just felt a little bit too derivative of Dark Deku from the Dark Hero arc. I get that Horikoshi's paying homage to the previous protagonist to help put him on the map, but I would have liked to see something more original, and if this does become its own series, I'd want there to be an updated design. Hopefully this wouldn't be a weekly series though. I think he's paid more than enough with his own health during MHA's serialization. I wouldn't mind this becoming a bi-weekly or even monthly series to help ensure he doesn't get overworked again. Thanks for making it to the end. I'm really glad that you're here. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. It helps out the channel a lot. What'd you think about this story? Would you want to see it turn into a full series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and check out the video on screen. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I hope you have a great day and happy reading.